Hi, Mr. Ko here again, and today's topic is adding and subtracting decimals. So our goal for today is to add and subtract decimals. Our California standards that we're going to cover today is number sense 1.2, and just very quick decimal tips. Number 1, use 0 as placeholders. Number 2, line up decimal points. And number 3, use column formats, which means line them up going this way, up and down. Alright, so let's just jump right into it. So here I have 3 2/100 plus 1 4/10. And again, if you look at the number of digits on this side, you have 3, 1, 2, 3, and here you have 2 digits. So we're going to, number 1, use zeros as placeholders, and we're going to go and place them into column formats, and don't forget about lining up your decimals. So I'm going to rewrite this as 3.02, and you're just adding 1.4. So notice I'm going to put the 1.4 right here, and we're going to go and put a 0 as my placeholder. And since we're just adding 2 positive decimals, we can just go ahead and add straight down. 2 plus 0, 0 plus 4, bring down your decimal, 3 plus 1, and there you have it, 4 42/100. Okay, let's look at this one. Here we have 0 37/100, and we have a whole number of 2. So let's go ahead and put this in column format. You can start with the 2 on the top, or you can start with 37 on the top. It really doesn't matter. So I'm going to start with 0, 37/100, and then I'm going to go ahead and place a 2, because 2 is a whole number. It's actually on the other side of the decimal point, so it actually starts right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and place my decimal. And you can always think of 2 as in money format, $2. And how you normally write $2 would be 0, 0. And again, I'm placing the 2 zeros here as placeholders because this didn't exist here. So here we're adding again. 7, 3. Your decimal comes straight down. 0 and 2. We have 2. 2 37/100. Alright, now this one, we're now going back into the integers and the integer rules. Notice that you have a negative and a negative, and if you add 2 negatives together, when you add 2 negatives together, all you're really doing is you're adding the number itself and then putting the negative sign with it. So, column format again, since we're just adding them, so I'm just going to write 3.95, or 3 95/100. Here is 4 1/10. Same deal applies. I need a placeholder. Just because they're both negatives does not mean it changes anything else. I'm still adding them together because, again, integer rules states that you're just going to add the 2 numbers together and it'll be a negative number at the end. So 5 plus 0, 9 plus 1 makes 10, so I'm going to have to go and carry over 1. Bring down your decimal. 3 and 4 is 7 plus that 1 gives me 8. And again, negative plus a negative is still going to give you a negative number. So this is a negative 8 5/100. Alright, now let's go into subtraction. So we are subtracting decimals here. And once again, go ahead and line them up in your column format. Just makes things a little bit easier. And in this case, since we're subtracting here, we're going to go ahead and do the larger number and the smaller number here. So again, left to right, 9.8, subtracting 7.1. And again, line up your decimals. 8 minus 1 is going to give me 7. Bring down your decimal, and 9 minus 7 is going to be 2. So here we have 2 7/10. Now, here, we're going to have to go back and remember our integer rules. When you have your integer rules, you're really going back with this, and you're actually adding the opposite. So we can do that. If I add the opposite, I'm really just adding a negative 8.9 to 3.9. So here, since they are different, you're taking 8.9 minus 3.9. And again, your integer rule states that when you have two different numbers that you're adding together, you're going to take the sign of that larger number. So 8.9, 9 minus 9 is going to give me 0. 8, bring out your decimal point, 8 minus 3 is 5. And again, our larger number here is 8.9. So that is going to give you a negative 5. Alright, let's have a look right here. Again, integer rules from what we learned before. Let's go ahead and change this out. So here you have a negative number added to a positive number. That minus negative, again, you can change that into an addition problem by adding the opposite. So here I have 18. And because one's a negative, one's a positive, you're really subtracting them. 278. And again, I'm going to line them up. So it's going to be 6.8. Or 6 8/10. And then I'm going to put in some placeholders. Subtract them. 8, 7. 2 minus 8, I'm going to have to go and borrow. That brings me down to 12. 12 over 8 is going to give me 4, your decimal. 7 minus 6 is 1, and 1. Now, looking at your number again, you have a positive number here and a negative number here. Your answer will be a negative 11 and 478,000.